Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Saturday, September 14th, 2024, and today's topic is sketching a costume for the purposes of character design, and I'm going to be continuing the sketch from yesterday. So yeah, check that one out if you want to see the progress. So in yesterday's video, I set up this profile of this character, an original character, and then I made a short video where I went in to do like a second pass, and I'm gonna leave it for now. And what I like is that, again, I talked about it in the previous video, but I didn't use like a pencil underdrawing or anything, and so I like that it just fits like it goes with it. Like, this is a printout, but I like how the ink, and it's just the usual Papermate felt tip pen that I use in every video, but I just like the way the ink looks. And like I said in the previous video, right here, I'm going to do like a full body sketch of the costume, like I said. And I'll also post some links to these videos that I did a while back, where they're basically I'm going to be using the same idea, but they're basically all these different thumbnails to kind of get into the vibe of the whatever setting, in this case like a fantasy setting. And then there was another video that I did that talked about sketching the little thumbnails with a little bit more detail, and then this would be kind of like a finished drawing kind of thing. I have the camera zoomed in, I just don't want to move it. So with this one, I want to combine all those different ideas, but the size of the drawing does affect like the level of detail. So I don't want it to look like not detailed at all, like a thumbnail. But I also know that I won't be able to put like all the details in there because it's pretty small. So in this video, let me start a 5-minute timer. I just want to do kind of what I did here, where like the first pass, which is to say the layout of the sketch. And then sometimes as you do that, you'll kind of get like happy accidents that you don't really have to do any more work, and so that's like a happy accident. But otherwise, just doing a good layout is helpful. So yeah, let's begin. So again, I'll link the thumbnail videos, but it's very similar to, and this is just kind of how I work, like the methodology. But I always like to find the proportion. And again, because we're going straight to the ink without erasing or anything, I'm not going to put a ton of construction lines. So I like to find the center. So I know I want it to be this tall, and then this is the midpoint. Then the other thing I want to figure out is like how wide to make the figure, because since we have a sketch on either side here, so this is kind of a good way to do this. You can think of it as like a trick. Without drawing like a lot of, like, you could draw a border, which wouldn't be a bad idea, but I'm not going to do that. So yeah, to figure out like the width of it, you could either do it from the shoulder, or from like this right here is the widest part of the hips, this middle point. So you could do that. You could decide, okay, I'm gonna go like, and it'll be a front view, so it's about equal. You could do it that way, because that would be like the widest part, unless the costume has like stuff coming off of it, which I don't think this one will. So then the next thing would be, if you find the midpoint, so this is like the top half and this is the bottom half, and they're about equal. If you find the midpoint of the top half, kind of forgot my measurements here, but it's a little bit above that. Again, these are guidelines. So what that means is the width here will kind of determine kind of like the ratio between the collarbone and the hips. Now, I usually like to set up the shoulder first, but I'm kind of giving myself a little bit of a challenge by not putting a ton of guidelines. It's just something that I wanted to do. So this is pretty good. I mean, I basically know how wide the figure is going to be and how tall by doing this. The next thing is the midpoint here. So I'm going to keep it like pretty basic, like a front view, because this is like a style guide. So I'm not trying to make it look like dynamic or like hide the pose or anything. So the midpoint here is, I'll just kind of keep, this would be like the knees. So I'll just kind of keep it in a front view. And then from there, we'll attach like the feet. And I like to leave, because as you're sketching it out, like the feet can kind of shift. They don't have to be like that straight. Okay, so with that said, so now that we have this, so again, I'm not drawing like a ton of lines because I may not need to. It's kind of like with this profile where I didn't draw like a ton of lines, like the jawline or anything like that, because sometimes it's better to just leave it. So I'm gonna indicate that's 5 minutes. I was waiting for the timer. So okay, so that's another 5 minutes here. So what I'm gonna do is, the next thing is to kind of think about, all right, what exactly am I drawing? I mean, I could draw a front view of this, or like a front view of this. I'm gonna go with something kind of like this, and I might leave it kind of just sort of kind of the outline of it, so that I could maybe do like a different version of it. So like, yeah, with that said, there's a lot going on as far as, because this is a character design. So for example, if I were to start to indicate a bit of the shape here, a lot of this has to do with like the design of the costume. And so for example, like here, I mean, that's really kind of what a costume or like fashion or something, like it obviously has to do with the form of the figure, but I'm keeping it kind of simple, like I said. So I'll just use these as like kind of guides here, and I'll just kind of lightly sketch in. Part of this is because I'm explaining this, so I know that that's kind of distracting from the actual idea, but that's okay, because sometimes it's good to be able to just set up the layout and then go, you know, sketch later on when you're just kind of like in the mood. So yeah, just sketch a basic outline of what you think it might look like. This is the collarbone, and then you put in the shoulders here. So one thing about like what's good about this is that it'll be it won't look wonky by having like some guidelines. So for example, if you were to, I don't think you can, well, you can kind of see it. Like if you look, like if this were digital, like if you flip the canvas, in other words, it won't look all out of proportion. So that's one good thing, and that's one reason that I work on like proportions, because I hated how that would happen. like I would flip it and then it would just be crooked, especially for a front view. Like it should look pretty symmetrical. But I'm going to just keep the pose pretty basic, just for right now. And since I am using ink, like I'm pretty much going to stick with this outline, but like the details might look different. And again, this is because I just want to know like what the character looks like, and then I'll do more like quick sketches with different poses and stuff later. So if you have this much, then I would probably just kind of put this part in, because usually, I mean, it'll pick up shadow, or it might be covered, it might be part of clothing. But as far as like how wide to make the head, so this would be kind of like the pit of the neck. The widest part will be about, it's like halfway. If this were the collarbone here, the widest part would be about half there. But as far as like the chin, it kind of comes up about this much, and I would just keep it pretty loose. Again, it's because of the size of I want it to be a little bit more than a thumbnail, but like you're not going to get a lot of detail. Like you wouldn't, I would just kind of use like something like this as a guide, but you wouldn't be able to go in and add all the little details. So that's another 5 minutes. So I'll do one more and just kind of wrap up the video, because I've done a lot of videos this week. Like they're pretty long. So yeah, just kind of leave it basic enough so that you can refine the shape, so that you can go in and kind of add some shadows to like refine it. And if, I mean, like this may not fit right here, but it's not too bad. Again, depending on the hairstyle, because I might go with this instead of like this. And then as far as like the drawing itself, like how to draw the figure, again, check out the figure drawing playlist I have, because it's basically the same. It's just figure drawing. It's a little different in that I'm thinking about the costume. That would be like the difference, but like underneath it is still figure drawing. So I'll probably do like this hairstyle just to make it kind of fit. But again, I like to leave, like if I don't have to draw something, I like to leave it because I just think it looks more interesting. So this is like a good example. Like I'm not going to draw like all the shadows unless that's the purpose of it. So part of that is also just like if it is a style guide, then leaving it simple would make it easier for me to redraw it. So yeah, thanks for supporting the channel and joining me today, and until next time, keep on sketching.